Hello friends, I'm reading for Aries energy today. I am trying to do quick readings because my kids are off school and I've got to entertain them. I don't want to spend my entire time doing readings right now, but we'll see how it goes. We know that I like to talk. So let's get you some letters, see what we get for Aries, please. So it may resonate, it may not. Take everything with a pinch of salt and trust your inner guidance to know whether it's a message for you or not. Take it or leave it, it's fine. X. Charlotte Lawrence. Immediately makes me think of Charlotte Lawrence's song. We only think of our exes when we get depressive. S. Whatever you get from it, right? You might not get anything from it. RX as well makes me think of Rex, like Tyrannosaurus Rex. Rex is the word for king in Latin. So, excess, maybe somebody likes in excess. Like, whatever you get, right? You may not get anything. It's fine. It's fine. Maybe your initials, maybe somebody around you. I don't know. Take it or leave it. But yeah, definitely made me think of the song RX, Rex by Charlotte Lawrence there. I'll just pop those along there. It's giving me street as well. RX Street. Maybe somewhere where somebody used to live. X Street. I don't know. Okay. Somebody could be called Lawrence, somebody could be called Charlotte, somebody could be called Rex. What have we got for Aries? Weighing something up, juggling something, balancing things. A bit defensive, trying to get the upper hand, the higher ground. Yeah, definitely there you are, Emperor. Definitely trying to defend your position or battling to reach some kind of goal, reach some kind of position. One more card, please, for Aries. Thank you very much. Feeling out in the cold. Not the best ending, but we'll see what the clarifiers say. So I'm actually just going to pause and see what I get from this. 10 of Pentacles. Right, okay. Immediately before I pause, I'm getting like building a legacy, building it could be talking about your home, your family, your work, with you showing up as the Emperor. The Emperor, it can be like a CEO, a boss, somebody who's in charge, somebody who's in some kind of authority position, leadership position, a place where they get to call the shots, right? They get to call the shots. So it could be, it's a very patriarchal energy. So this talks about like the father of the family. But again, gender's quite fluid in the tarot. So even though it's a man, it's patriarchal. It doesn't necessarily mean you have to be a man. I am reading for Aries energy. So I'm going to say this is you, but just know that you can flip it and reverse it. If you think I'm talking about somebody else, then, you're, just give me a second, excuse me. So that was just my daughter getting up at midday. I don't know what time it is actually. This reading is probably going to be late. I'm super sorry, Aries. We can't all be emperors. We're not all running on a schedule here. Some of us just go with the flow. Yeah, it definitely feels like head of the table kind of energy, being in a position of authority, making decisions. So it could, even if this isn't you, it could be a wish, a desire of yours. It is Aries energy, it's Aries Taurus energy. It is like the person who wants to be the big guy, the big boss, call the shots, make the decisions. So if you don't have this, it's like a desire to be the one that's in charge. Aries does like to take control. Aries does like to be in charge. Aries is like, this is what we're doing today, and everybody can either come along or not. No skin off Aries' nose. Aries is going to do what Aries is doing, right? If people want to come along, then great. If people aren't into it, then fine. Just don't hold Aries back. That's kind of very typical, stereotypical Aries energy. Not all of you are going to be like that. Again, look at your Mars placements to figure out how you take action, your Mercury placement, which talks about how you interact with other people. But pure Aries energy, very much like, see it, want it, go for it, do it. It's the opposite, actually. I'm a Libra, so it's the opposite energy to me. Libra is much more laid back, much more chill, much more like, let's think about this for a few months. Aries is like, I just want a decision. So yeah, like interesting. I could be a bit more Aries, but I'm not. Yeah, I don't know. Sometimes I need an Aries. Sometimes I need the Aries to be like, this is what we're doing today. Are you coming or are you not? And I'm like, no, I'm not. And they're like, right, see you later, bye. No hard feelings, right? Or like, are you coming doing this? Yeah, it sounds like fun. Right, get your shoes on, let's go. Sometimes I need that energy in my life. I don't know many Aries. I think because I'm don't keep up. Right, okay, so indecision, juggling things, weighing up your options, or trying to keep something together, trying to like spin plates in the air. That's kind of this Two of Pentacles energy here. Seven of Wands, yeah, standing your ground, defending your position, trying to gain the upper hand, but then ending up with this like feeling out in the cold, feeling like something didn't work out. Could be, let's pull more cards. Let's pull more cards to see what else is going on. So tell me about the Two of Pentacles for Aries. Thank you. These cards have been very good. The tea leaf cards, sometimes there's quite a lot of them, and sometimes you can get like half a deck, right? Sometimes like there's cards flying everywhere, but they've been quite well behaved for me. They're giving me like one card, which is nice and efficient. You'll appreciate it, Aries. Like, unbelievable. You saw that happened on camera. What is your, what are you? What are you in the zodiac, Aries? You're the ram, right? Stubborn and aggressive person. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, Aries. Maybe you're getting called out in this reading. It could be, though, for some of you, you're dealing with another Aries. It could be that there's somebody around you who isn't even an Aries who is being stubborn and aggressive, right? It doesn't necessarily mean it's you, but it could be you. Are you being a little bit too... Are you being a bit too bossy, Aries? You can be. Let's be honest. Sometimes you get a bit too impatient, a bit too bossy, a little bit too set in your ways. The Emperor is a bit of a stubborn energy, you know? So, I don't know. Take it or leave it. Somebody's stubborn. Somebody, it feels like ram as well, like ramming it home, pushing it through, like trying to like force something upon others. Ooh, that went in a weird way. Don't do that. But it feels like this is what I want to do. This is the way I see it. This is what I want to do. This is the way it has to be. It feels a bit pushy. But then it's like with the indecision, you could be dealing with somebody who's indecisive and you're like, I want to push this through, and this person's kind of dragging their heels, but it's showing through as your energy. Like you're weighing it up. It feels a bit like the shoes on the other foot. Like somebody around you is trying to push something through and you're trying to balance it out. You're trying to give it like proper thought. Seven of Wands, thank you. June, something could happen in June. Somebody could be called June. Something could have happened last June. Yeah, so something could be coming up in summer for you. June is June, right? What does that say to you? The Emperor, I mean, definitely feels like achieving something. Gong, an exciting event. So maybe you're having a dinner party or something. I don't know, gong, dinner time. You're sat at the head of the table. Yeah, something's coming up. You're getting to make decisions. You feel like you're in control of the situation. It's exciting. You may be planning something. March. So it feels like, I mean, this could be talking about a long timeline for you. This could be like talking about going through June into next year and March. But it could also be talking about, I mean, this could be talking about somebody around you who has a June birthday, which I think would be, I know that Leo is the end of July. So what's before Leo? Cancer. So what, Gemini, Cancer, I think is June. Don't quote me on that. Maybe go and check it up and fact check that one. I know some months better than others. I think it's Gemini, Cancer. You could be dealing with a Gemini or Cancer. You could have those placements. March would be Pisces and Aries. So you could have a March birthday. So this could be talking about somebody born in March, something that happened in March that is affecting you. You know, like you were disappointed. Maybe COVID was still in effect. People couldn't come see your birthday party. You're still disappointed about that. So it's like, it could be something like that. Like you're having a birthday party, but it's because you couldn't have it in March. There is disappointment or like feeling shut out, or it's kind of a bit of FOMO. It's kind of a bit like the doors closed, you couldn't join in, or you've had some kind of loss, like a financial loss, something to do with March. I don't know. I can't give you any more than what the cards are telling me. Well, I can, because I can get intuitive messages, but I'm not getting a lot intuitively today. Okay, so what's going on? Who's affecting Aries then, please? Tell me about so this is kind of the energy that I'm reading for you, but again, flip it and reverse it if needs be. So I'm reading for energy affecting you. So it's not your energy. So other people might come out with, you know, that you're dealing with, that kind of thing. Aries, that is too many. I'm seeing Knight of Swords, could definitely be a Gemini, which is interesting. Did I tell you your song? Your song was Put Your Hands All Over Me by Maroon 5. I know I got distracted talking about Charlotte Lawrence with this RX because that's the name of one of her songs, but the song that came through for you, Maroon 5, Put Your Hands All Over Me, which is a strange song, strange lyrics. You could definitely be dealing with a Taurus as well, possibly High Priest here. You could be running into some kind of authority figure that is very stubborn or aggressive. So it could be you could be dealing with like some kind of government situation. You could be dealing with somebody who's particularly religious. Interesting, I've just done a very religious reading. It's kind of like, it feels like red tape a little bit. You know, the high priest, it could be like government institutions, so church and state. It can be, again, father figures, grandfather figures, patriarchy. It talks about traditional structures, traditional belief systems, core belief systems, traditions, structures, the rule book. This is the way it's always been done, so this is the way that we continue to do it. A very closed mindset, but it is somebody who you can go to for advice. It could be somebody who tells you the truth, or gives you some news, or gives you some information. But because it's with this stubborn, aggressive person, it feels a little bit controlling. I mean, it's come through in the upright, so I want to say there's nothing bad about what this is as a whole, right? It's like there's nothing inherently bad, perhaps. I mean, some of you might disagree, but it could be talking about some kind of structure, like a school, right? A school structure that you're dealing with. And they're very set in the ways. They're very kind of like stubborn and set in the ways. This is the way it's done. This is the way everybody does it. This is the way, you know, this is just the rules. This is just the way it's set up. And you're like, well, can we not adapt that? And they're being like, no, this is how we do it. And it's like, it's not that they're bad, you know, you can still go to them for advice. They still give you an education. They're still guardians, you know, they still take care of you. They're still that kind of father figure energy. But at the same time, they're very, again, it's Taurus. You could be dealing with a Taurus, or you could be Aries, Taurus cusp, but Taurus is notorious for being stubborn and set in the ways. It's like very hard to get, because they're very like long term, right? Taurus has a very long term mindset of like, if I just keep doing it this way, then I'm going to get to the finish line, right? That's the goal. I'm going to go from here to there, and nothing's going to, you know, like they're the bull, right? They're the bull. It's hard to push them off course. So, you know, it can be very hard to deal with somebody with strong Taurus placements, to get them to, you know, change the perspective, or, you know, shift, you know, like they don't like the goalposts to shift. They're like, this is the plan, I want to stick with this plan. Again, depending on the full chart, I don't want to stereotype a person, because I'm talking about Taurus energy, not Taurus people, because people are 12 houses. All the planets move around those houses, so we're all affected by Taurus energy in different ways. You know, look at your full placements, go and look at your birth chart. There's a link in the description box below. But that kind of Taurian energy of tradition, rules, structure seems to be something that you're battling against. Feels like you're actually coming to the table with different ideas. Like you're there going like, can we try this? Can we modify that? And this is very much like, no, this is the way it's done. That feels like the situation you're dealing with. So tell me about Seven of Wands in June. That's quite a lot. Can I get less cards, please? I'm trying to do quick readings. Can you tell me some more succinctly, please? Seven of Wands in June. Could be a funeral. Could be something about planning a funeral. The High Priest and the Death card. Obviously, you'd have a priest at, you know, last rites. You could be getting somebody to do somebody's last rites. Does feel like you're being very defensive about some sort of ending. The Death card is death and rebirth. It doesn't always mean literal death, but it can be. It can be. It doesn't mean this is predicting someone's going to die in June. I'm not saying anything like that at all. If it is, then I'm going to say that you already know, right? You already know. This is not, it didn't come out with the Tower card. If it came out with the Tower card, it'd be like a surprise. But this feels more like I'm just kind of going back into that reading that I did, that was the test reading, where it was like somebody had been fighting a long battle. And it's like when people have been ill for a long time, you know, it's normally a steady decline. You have some idea of how long they're going to be around for. So it could be, if it is a literal death, I feel like you already suspect that, you know, it's getting to that time. April, May, June. I don't think it's going to be a shock. Mostly the death card doesn't it can mean thoughts about it. It can be, you know, just thinking what happens. I'm being philosophical at the moment. I wonder what happens after death. I'm watching a lot of YouTube videos about people who've had near-death experiences, right? It doesn't have to necessarily mean it's like, you know, scary. It can come through in lots of different ways. It could be that somebody's, I don't know, doing I mean, it'd be weird to do it in June, but it's like somebody's going to do, I don't know, a play about, like the nightmare, what is it? Not the Nightmare Before Christmas. What's that thing? I always forget it. It's Dickens, the Christmas play with Scrooge in, right? Where it's like Ghost of Christmas Past, and then there's that really scary one. It could be like somebody's playing it in a play, right? There's so many different ways that it can come out, so it's definitely not something you should panic about. But it could be, I mean, this is an angel. Somebody could be defensive. Again, it could be like last June. Somebody could be defensive about something that ended last June. That perhaps they're resisting fully emotionally feeling or fully emotionally dealing with it. It's like they're resistant to talking about it. They're resistant to, you know, uncorking those emotions. Could be something like that. The angel kind of does give me a sense of peace with it, acceptance, but this is defensive. I'll say what I said in the other reading as well. The child is actually offering up flowers to this energy because in different circumstances, endings can be seen as a good thing or a bad thing. It all depends on the scenario, the situation itself. If it's sudden, if it's a shock, if it feels unfair, it's seen as a bad, scary thing. Where if it's something where, you know, somebody's been suffering and they're released from that suffering, it can be seen as something that's like a mercy, you know, a kindness. You could talk about pets, you know, having to make that decision for a pet. It's always a horrible decision to have to make. It's really traumatic, actually, to have to make that decision. But when an animal is suffering, you know, we want to be merciful. So I don't know. It just feels like a similar energy to what I was getting in the other reading, where it's like somebody was resistant to discussing it. Someone was resistant to perhaps examine their own attitude towards these things. I don't know. Oh yeah. Oh, this could be really fun actually. The Emperor, which is showing a really positive energy. That's somebody who's really getting control, really doing quite well, being quite successful. You know, other people are dependent and rely on this person. An exciting event. And the World card could be that somebody's literally traveling the world to go to an event. It could be China, perhaps, kind of way, Asia way, just with the gong. Yeah, that looks really good. That looks really fun. It could be an event that's happening on the internet. The world card can indicate the internet. It could be something where somebody's done a lot of learning. The world card and the Hierophant card both talk about education. It could be completing an education. It could be that somebody's been studying something to do with life and death, you know, some kind of philosophy course or something. It could be that. You've actually got whatever's going on down here. It's pretty big. These are all major arcana. You've got the Hierophant, the Death card, and the World card. 3 major arcana. That is very strong energy. You only have 1 major arcana up here, but it's a very positive card. There's something big happening outside of you. It's like God's here, it's the end of the world. Like, I don't want to scare anybody. That was a joke. Have to clarify that was a joke. But it's like it has that feeling of like, that was a joke. I have to keep saying it. It has that feeling of like a major cycle ending. Maybe not for you, but maybe outside of you, like an institution that's closing. You know, it could be like the closing of a university, or a major phase of learning that a whole group of you have been through, and it's ending now. You've learned your lessons. You've got that higher education. It could be somebody leaving higher education. I'm getting kind of like school or university vibes. Definitely completion. The will card and the death card and the will card are completion. We've learned our lessons. This is ending. We're going on to something else fresh and new right now. A brand new start. We've learned, you know, a lot of learning here, a lot of guidance, higher education. Maybe somebody's been doing a course of study online. Yeah, Gong, exciting event, Emperor. This could be graduation. A father attending a child's graduation ceremony. They have to travel to get there. Yeah, it looks really good. It actually looks really, really positive. Five of Pentacles and March. Five of Pentacles and March. Really seeing the snowdrops. Just two of swords. Something, some kind of blockage. There's something disappointing here coming up. Really, really noticing the white flowers, especially like the snowdrops. They are a positive symbol for me because these flowers will grow when nothing else will grow. So this talks about so I'm debating whether or not to tell you the word I heard. I should do, because that's my job to do it. And very much want to stress, I don't want to scare anybody, but I'm hearing the word devastation, like the devastation of crops. So I'm hearing like it could be a situation where perhaps somebody has farmland. There could be some kind of something that happens where it affects the growth of the crops. We are in April right now, and in the UK, we've had sunny weather for a few weeks, and then it snowed. So it could be, you know, a strange weather occurrence where the weather isn't quite in time with the seasons, and it affects the crop growth, which means that it always gives me like a Christmas tree, you know, like a Christmas tree that's dead, but it still has its baubles on. Like, you haven't taken your Christmas tree down yet. What are you doing? It's like it's decorating something that's kind of, yeah, decorating something that's dead. So it could be like talking about like crops that have died, or whatever the situation is that died, right? Whatever the situation is that ended. It's like trying to dress it up, but it's not growing, right? It's there's something here about acceptance that a situation has ended, accepted that you can't dress it up. It is what it is, right? But there is hope. There is hope for new growth. There are things that can grow in this environment. So if it's literal, if it's talking about somebody's farmland and crops, it's like you may have to start producing a different crop, right? That crop may no longer be the most efficient thing to grow in that environment. The seasons have changed, the world's changed. You know, it's hotter, it's colder than it was, you know, when you used to make a profit out of that. So change the crop, right? There's something else that's more adaptive to that environment. It could be that. Excuse me a second. Yeah, so there definitely seems to be something significant about the white flowers or snowdrops, because you've got three of them here. Yeah, it could be talking about I used to get something through about a tree, you know, somebody passing away and somebody planting a tree in their honour, but the tree being struck by lightning. It was a very specific message that used to come through. But it's like maybe going to visit that tree. It doesn't have to be tree. The tree could be symbolic of like a certain place that is in memory of a certain person, or a certain, even like it may not be specifically a person, but it's like a situation that ended, and a certain place that's kind of symbolic of that. Excuse me a second. My daughter's up and being noisy. So yeah, it's yeah, it feels like you know, going to that place, and like perhaps the tree has died, perhaps a tree's been struck by lightning, but seeing like the growth, like this, the things that grow in March, right? The things that grow in spring, like seeing those plants pop up again. There is something about not waiting here, which is interesting because this kind of felt a little bit like how the practice reading that I'm going to put up kind of ended. It ended with somebody on this rooftop waiting, waiting for a message. But this feels like somebody who's no longer waiting for the ships to come in, no longer waiting for a return on their investment, which is very interesting because that other reading had somebody who was like, I want a return on my work here. I want to be paid for the job that I've done. Where this feels like somebody who is, I mean, very much accepting that a situation is ending, very much stepping into their own power and accepting a loss. This feels like accepting a loss, a financial loss. Because as I say, this is waiting for a return on your investment, waiting for your ships to come in, making a decision, where it feels a little bit like maybe there's no decision to be made here. You know, cutting your losses and walking away from something, you know, letting something end, has that kind of feeling to it. What do I want to get for you in terms of advice card? I'm feeling the dragon deck. I think because it's got such strong energy here, you know, it could be talking about like, you know, like Dragon's Den, investors, that kind of thing. You know, if you haven't checked it out, maybe go and do check out that reading that I put up earlier, the Tell Me Anything reading, because there's definitely parallels with, you know, somebody waiting for money for work that they've done, and possibly deciding to walk away from it, you know, to cut the losses. Kind of has that kind of feeling to it. Yeah, definitely. Could be like blocking something. Oh, that's interesting. Look what's underneath as well. Again, how the other reading ended. Yeah, and that was what was actually underneath in the last reading too. Yeah, it feels like something disappointing, but accepting it, moving on, and actually being in a strong position to do that. Okay, what do we have, please? What advice do we have for Aries today? Got 2 cards. You've got Actrimis and you've got the Healer. Green could be a very significant colour for you at the moment. Again, I'm getting stuff about like plants. Just take what resonates, leave anything that doesn't. I may not 100% be reading things accurately in this reading. I don't feel like I have a strong connection to the kind of psychic messages that I normally receive. Sometimes I'm very, very hooked up to that network, and I, you know, can hear things throughout the whole reading. I'm constantly being told stuff intuitively. My intuition's not turned on in this reading, so, you know, it's up to you to kind of interpret things as you see fit. I'm just reading the cards right now. I don't know. I don't feel like I'm being accurate in this reading, and I'm going to be honest about that. Sometimes it's hot, sometimes it's not. Integrate the higher vibrations within your work and life. It could be because there's something major going on for you that's really taking up a lot of your time and energy. You could be very, very focused on material things, on earthy things, on the practical side of life, especially as you're showing up as the Emperor. And when we get very distracted by earthy things, it can distance us or dull that connection to our higher guidance, our higher self, spirit, God, whatever you want to call it, the universe, because we're so distracted and stressed and busy. You know, there's a major thing going on here environmentally for you, 3 major arcana cards. So it could be that, you know, you may need to meditate a little bit more. You may need to, you know, make sure you make time to do whatever spiritual practices help you to have that connection to your higher self. You know, don't lose that just because there's a lot going on environmentally for you. Okay, integrate the higher vibrations within your work and life. Funnily enough, Actimus connects with the Arcturian civilization, the peacekeepers of the galaxies. This is a little bit out there. This deck is a little bit out there. It's not going to be for everybody, but just take the kind of the more practical messages as they apply. ground it. This beautiful dragon announced himself to me by stating, I am the dragon Actramis of the 7th golden ray dimension. I am kin to the Atlantean dragons, who are 7th dimensional but choose to work with the 5th dimensional beings of Atlantis and oversee the raising of their vibration to the 7th dimension. If you're really into this, I'm sorry for laughing. It's just unusual for me to speak like this way. Okay. If Actramis has joined your reading today, heed his words. The time has come for you to begin integrating with 7th dimensional golden ray energy and initiate the process of anchoring its frequency into your being. This will help you to shift the old layers of 3D energy and release it naturally. It heralds the next phase of your incredible journey. Holding a clearer vibration allows us to view the world without judgment, be at ease with ourselves, and let go of negativity. By accepting Actramis into your life, you are acknowledging that you are ready to shift old DNA coding and integrate the higher vibrations of your life. So this is just saying to me, if we ground this in terms that most people will understand a little bit more easily, it's just saying, if you want to do a little bit meditation, do a little bit of yoga, and kind of really do that chakra work, the opening up the chakras, opening up those energies through whichever way you would normally do that, then that's the advice there. It may also be saying, just remember to connect to your higher self, and even if that's taking a day to go for a walk in the woods, because that really helps clear your mind and connect you with nature and those kinds of things, whatever works for you. That's what that's saying. Okay, let's look at the healer, which is very interesting because it did feel like somebody was battling a health battle in the other reading. You may love your work, but it does not define you. Oh my god, I said that in the other reading. I had the Batman quote. It's not who you are that defines you, but what you do, or vice versa. I may have mixed up the quote, but yeah, that is mad. You also need time to be you. This gentle yet powerful dragon is a true guardian of all the healers on earth. He connects particularly with those who work energetically. He reminds us that although we may walk our talk, we may also need to heed our own advice. We are not a bottomless pit of energy and need to take a time out now and again. Yeah, I feel like you may be steering the ship here. You may be, especially if this is what's going on environmentally for you. It could even be like, I don't know, it could be like a parental figure has passed away, like the grandfather's passed away, the father's passed away, and now you're stepping up into that role. You're now the head of the family, taking on all those responsibilities, making funeral arrangements, planning the funeral, making sure the priest can get there, can everybody travel to this place? What are the travel restrictions? Has everybody had the vaccinations? Could be that you're doing all this practical stuff and it's like, I just need a breather. I just need to recharge my own battery. It could be, again, you're taking on your father's business or something like this and taking on all those responsibilities and being like, I can feel my own health depleting. I can feel the stress, wearing my body down here. I can feel, I just feel myself getting drained by all these burdens and responsibilities that I've possibly adopted. So, how do I handle this? How do I do this without completely depleting my own stock? It could be something like that. His message: I am the guardian of the healers. You are capable of great things on earth as a healer and as a light for others to follow. But to do this, you must burn brightly and throw light into the shadows of your world. You give a great deal to others, but you must also make time for yourself. You need to rest and recharge. Your energy tank requires refilling lest you become depleted. Make time to meditate, rejuvenate, to relax, and above all, to laugh. You may love your work, but it does not define you. You also need to be you, a wife, a husband, a mother, a father, a daughter, a son, a sister, or a brother, or any other role you fulfill. He reminds us not to take ourselves or life too seriously. If we do, we risk forgetting that we are just one tiny cog in the great wheel of life. Yeah, so have that higher perspective. See, wear the world as a loose garment, and remember, everything is temporary and everything is transitory. If there's a situation right now and it feels like you're dealing with something quite big, actually, things will calm down. You have, what do they say? You have to put on your own mask first, so that before you can help others. So look after you, you know, the emperor needs rest. You know, the emperor's no good to anybody if he's cranky and tired and, you know, overworked and he's not paying attention properly, he can't think clearly. The emperor needs to rest so he can think clearly, so he can make those good decisions. So rest is important. I say this a lot to my earth signs, especially Virgo. I don't know if you've got a little bit of Virgo in your chart. I say, you know, me time, that rest time, is important too. That should be on your jobs list. If you factor in, you know, meditation time, going for a walk, if you factor in your own health and your own well-being into your actual jobs list, then, you know, and see it as something that's necessary. Going for a walk and getting fresh air is just as necessary as getting, I don't know, taking those things off the jobs list are just as important as putting the laundry through, right? Because you can't put laundry through if you overwork yourself and you know, you get sick and you have to have a week off. How much is the laundry going to pile up then? So taking care of yourself, your own physical body, especially I am getting Virgo here because Virgo is associated with health. You know, taking care of your physical body and your health, especially with the healer here, you know, it's an important job. And if you see it with that kind of Virgo mentality of it's a job, it's just a job that's as important as all my other jobs, you know, it's not selfish, it's essential, and you actually write it on your jobs list. Go for a walk, you know, eat healthily. You know, I do this as well. I have things like eat healthy food, eat your 5 a day. I put it on jobs list because yeah, I don't know. That could be helpful to somebody. I'm going to go because I'm waffling. It's 35:35 on the timestamp. That could be a significant number for somebody. Maybe somebody is 35 or lives at number 35. I don't know. 3 and 5 make 5, 6, 7, 8. Eights are about infinity, things that are perpetual, like this kind of infinity symbol here. These kind of like toying with. So I hope this reading was helpful to somebody. Please take care of yourselves. Just as a side message, just with RX, something that has been coming through intuitively, you know, with that song, with a couple of different songs, and that Put Your Hands All Over Me, somebody could have an ex with quite self-destructive behaviors, maybe some kind of addictions going on, maybe some mental health issues. It could be a very sexual relationship. You know, you get together, you have a good time, but you can't live together. You know, you do not get on. But I'm getting this this feeling of somebody who is like they have a lot of guilt. You know, they feel sort of obliged to kind of save that person. You know, like it's like I care about that person. You know, they're a good person. They just have these demons that they're battling, but it's like they keep on getting roped in. Be very, very careful. If you have an ex who has some kind of addictions, don't give them money. You know, I would say just be really careful of that. Give them help, be a friend, but don't give them money. And it's not your job to save everybody else. Sometimes other people have to pick themselves up and take responsibility for their actions. And that's difficult when they're dealing with, you know, mental health or addictions or, you know, disorders of different kinds. But yeah, I don't know, there's... don't get taken advantage of, and you deserve to be happy, you know, and you shouldn't feel guilty about being happy and moving forward. Just a side message that's been coming through for somebody there. Yeah, okay, take care of yourselves. If you are giving somebody money, make sure it's not transactionary. You know, if you have extra money and you know this person's probably not going to pay you back, but you're prepared to give it them anyway, just be like, I'm giving you this money, I don't want anything in return, especially not, don't mix up, I'm not saying it's like the P word, but it's like, don't mix up gratitude like sexually, or, you know, if you're mixing sex and money, it's not necessarily a good situation. It's quite toxic. It's a side message that's been coming through, but it's poking its head out in your reading, so just be careful of that. Okay, if you're lending somebody money, lend them money, but don't have a relationship with them. You know, don't complicate it. It's one or the other, right? I think. Um, I don't know. I don't know. I'm leaving that there. Take care of yourselves. If you like the reading, please leave me a like. If you feel comfortable sharing and commenting on anything, please do so. I like to see that feedback. It's helpful for me developing as a reader. If you're new here and you haven't subscribed yet, please hit that subscribe button. If you're interested in seeing more of my readings, it really helps out the channel actually, and it's nice to see that support. And stealth watchers always welcome as well. And everybody who already subscribes and supports me and likes my video, thank you so much for that ongoing support. It really means a lot to me, and it encourages me and keeps me motivated to keep coming back and doing these readings, and hopefully really genuinely hope that they're helpful for people. All right, take care of yourselves. I will see you again soon. Bye friends.